walk along the river's edge. I'm just looking around and then something in the corner of my eye speaks to me and I bend down and I pick it up and I'm like, oh, look at that, you know. I feel like I've sort of won the lottery when I find something interesting, you know. Sorry, my filing system isn't great. But little toy soldiers. Those are bullets. I sort of recognise this type of cartridge, but I've got no qualms about people who just like to look at something and think, I love it, that's okay. You know, it's the one part of the big job that art does, but for me this process has been very much about understanding the landscape and understanding the story of the landscape and understanding how to heal. They used to call these stovies, so this is for tobacco smokers back in probably like the late 1800s. They're toys from the Victorian era, so they are they call them frozen Charlottes because they're little stuff you find in the river. And this speaks to all forms of art that has a huge capacity to talk about things that are not in the public domain or not currently part of the conversation.
We need to have different thinking, different perspectives, and that's what art brings to the table.
Yeah, no, they do bring that. It's very important.
One of the things that I get asked on a regular basis about funding the arts, you know, how about putting money towards a hospital, towards a school, or some of those other things? It's like, to me, it goes to the core of what sort of place do you want to live in? What do you want your city to be like? Interestingly, one of the things for me with regards to buying art is about the relationships that you have. Most of the artists that we buy from, you know, we've met. I'm a fan of Banksy's, so it's lovely. I think this one has meaning for me. You know, it's a Banksy canvas. It's one of 8 or 10, I think, and because it's got the name of my hometown on it as well, I think it adds something. Luke Cornish is another artist that we've engaged with. And his works are here, this work was around the time that he was in the Archibalds. Now, this is one of Ian's work. I really am very fond of this. We actually commissioned him to do this because it's a combination of the sort of work he did on the street and more of his fine art practice. This was one of the sort of deeper engagements we had with you, and this was, how many years ago now was this?
God, 27 years ago,
yeah,
I think. Yeah, it's a while ago. And it was one that I wanted to make for a really, really long time as well.
I remember, having initial conversations with you and seeing some of the sketches, and being really thrilled to think that we could help make it come to life, and then eventually seeing the works that you created out of it. It's just it was just a different level again, because this was after people assume that they can't be a philanthropist unless they've got tens of thousands of dollars to give away or hundreds of thousands of dollars to give away. The reality of it is what we're trying to create is by bringing more people to philanthropy to show them that $1,000 can have an impact.
Paul and I worked together on the original Impact 100 project.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and distinguished guests.
I'm Paul Chamberlain, and it's my distinct pleasure as MC to welcome you to the State Reception Centre for the 10th Impact 100 WA Grants Dinner. We're here tonight to celebrate 10 years of Impact and to choose which of these 5 finalists will leave with $100,000 grants. In your envelopes, there should be a feedback form, description sheets about tonight's finalists, and your precious voting pebbles. Each of the pebbles should be placed in a separate vase. Anyone found voting for the same organisation twice will be forced to work out next year's seating plan.
The journey into Arts Impact is a direct outcome of having experienced that collective giving circle and the success of that.
A couple of us started approaching people within philanthropy that we knew that were already engaged and potentially had the capacity to give us some of the funds that we were looking for. Very often what we found in the past is that if private philanthropic money comes in, very often it gets leveraged. It's the initial seed capital tool, if you like, that helps set something off, and then maybe gets leveraged with corporate funds or with government funds on top. And I know that one of the projects that we first started off doing, I think we put some money in, and because of leveraging through local government, state government, and federal government, our initial grant was magnified by about 16 times. Sustainability is I guess, the first goal. We know that we'll be around for at least 3 years based on the commitments that we've got from our founder champions, and that enables us to kick things off with a great start. Joining me on stage is a good friend, a long-term member and supporter, Kevin Casryle.
I still remember the first night. The good that you felt that night and every night since has just been amazing. I just think the concept of turning $1,000 into $100,000 to help really worthwhile small and middle level organisations, not-for-profit organisations, is just sensational.
I do support certain charities where they ask for money and you donate money, but you have no sense of involvement. Unlike Impact 100, where you donate your money and you can be as involved as you want, or you can just sit back and go to the dinner, or not even go to that.
We actually get to visit the organisations, we get to see stuff firsthand, we get to talk to people on a one-to-one basis. So you do get to see a lot of what goes on.
Impact 100 has attracted certain demographics, but the good thing is that there's always room and scope to broaden.
I think most people will have an epiphany once they engage with a piece of art that becomes meaningful to them, and it could be anything. It could be a photograph, it could be a book, it could be a theatre experience.
We decided some years ago that we would go and visit some Indigenous art communities. Came across these gorgeous people called Mimis, which are naughty people. Came across this beautiful piece, and this piece came from the APY lands, which is on the border of South Australia, West Australia and the Northern Territory.
Art is phenomenally important to be able to challenge people's thinking, people's mind. It enriches your life. It provides you an out. And we need to ensure that we have a rich tapestry in our society.
We launch effectively on the 15th of November. Not long after that, we'll open the application process and we'll be asking for, applicants to outline their projects, outline what they are looking for, how they're going to deliver it, and then we select 6 to 10 projects, and all the time we're engaging with potential donors and we're trying to understand how much money there's going to be in the pot. Once we've selected our 6 preferred projects, they are invited to talk about their projects at a function, and then donors vote on the projects that they want to see funded.
And I also feel it's a level playing field for once. It's artists versus artists. Yeah. You're not against charities with children in need. You're not against other things that tear at the heartstrings.
We're pretty confident, well, we will definitely have at least one major grant of $100,000. I think there's about an 80% chance that we'll have 2 $100,000 grants. And our big hairy ass goal is really that maybe we could get 3 $100,000 grants in the first year, which would be an incredible way to kick off the organisation and to get the word out there.
To say to someone that's on the cusp of joining, I would say they will get tenfold. For their $1,000, they will be paid tenfold back in how they will feel at the end of the year.